Before the start. 2. Every beginning of the story involved death, some inevitable, some unfair, and some that went unnoticed until it was all but too late. But, as texts describing the woes of jealousy, fear, and war are an overused auxiliary, what you're about to read starts smack dab in the middle. If one had to go back to the beginning and tell you everything, that would mean writing 100 pages of something that is just as easily found in Northland's historical archives, also known as the legend, and is most likely to be used for something such as a book report. So, instead what shall be presented now, in what will hopefully be a short overview, is how some parts of the story really started. Decades before everything in the world took its place, a goddess gave her life to save her country. At some point, much later, a civil war inside Northland broke out. For now, that is all that needs to be said of that beginning. 20 years later, sometime around the beginning of a certain September, a boy named Christopher Hawks, remember that name, was discovered to be the holder of one of the 7 stones of the Jacobus. That was a part of the prologue of the first book of Witches of the North, Winter Journey. That's the name of the first book. I've decided to make an introduction and maybe read an excerpt or two so that people can get acquainted with the story really quickly. I've made a little presentation here, so sit back and have fun. The project is called Witches of the North. What is it? It's a project that I began in 2005. I came up with the first 2 characters, Chris and Winter, while in summer camp out of boredom, and so everything began. I've been drawing and writing about them for ever since then, almost non-stop. On the left you can see the very first illustration I made. It's been my passion project ever since then. So yeah, this is the original title, according to this little drawing, was Witch from the North. And Winter, this is Winter in the front. She's wearing pink. This is before I came up with her color code, which is blue now. But I used to wear a lot of like pink shirts and pants like this. And Chris is in the background. And this here is a little stone that's really important in the story. The synopsis of book 1, and this here is the cover. Things look bleak for Christopher Hawks this year. Not only is Chris nearing the stresses of the end of his high school education, but last September he shattered the legendary sword of the Kingdom of Northland, became the accidental heir to its throne, and is now being tracked down by the elite hunters. All events being a result of a few unfortunate choices made in order to help a witch named Winter, who, in turn, also received help from a witch named Ian. Now, Chris, following Winter's lead and dragging along a few others with him, is on his way to, reluctantly, reach the current queen and challenge her to a duel. But it seems that Winter is more than impatient. Could there be a deadline to their mission? And why does everything seem a little too easy? And that was the synopsis of book 1. Now, I'd like to introduce you the characters. Let's move this. Let's move me a little bit. The first main character is Christopher Hawks, also known as Chris. A hatch from Ensi. Hatch means half-witch. Witches are the magical beings on the planet Globe, which is the planet where things take place. And Ensi is one of the continents. He suffers from panic but has a positive outlook and likes to go on morning walks and listen to musicals. He's infatuated with Winter. He doesn't remember the first 10 years of his life very well. Gender, transmasculine. His dead name is irrelevant, but you may see it in the novel. Please don't use it, as always with dead names. His pronouns are he and him. His orientation is demi-romantic and demisexual. His birthday is August 5th. And in the first book he is 23 years old, although he is actually in his last year of high school. The reason for that will be explained in the novel itself. His color code is red. He's the first character created for this project, and his look and name were inspired by Chris Thorndike from the Sonic X cartoon. The main difference right now is that his eyes are brown and his skin color is a little bit different. Here you can see the images. This down here, oops. This down here is Chris Thorndike. Keep in mind that this was in like 2005. I don't even think that they're very similar to this day, but yeah, his hair color and name were inspired by him. The next character is called Winter Burisna, or Winter Burisna. She's a witch from Northland, the lost princess, cold and stubborn, and all she does is for her homeland. She works at her adoptive family's coffee shop and likes to make candy and bake. She's rumored to rarely smile. Her gender is trans femme, so she is a trans woman, and she doesn't have a dead name, and you don't need to worry about that. Pronouns she, her, orientation demisexual and demi-romantic. Her birthday, which is coming up soon, is January 13. She is 25 years old, but finished high school recently, which is also explained in the book. Her color code is blue. So trivia, first character created along with Chris. She's gone through the most design changes, and at one point had brown hair. Now, in the little drawing that I made here, her brown hair is said to be the first design, and here it says Voodoo Witch. Please keep in mind, I drew this little chart when I was very young. I don't think Voodoo Witch is very appropriate, but anyway, that's what I've put here. This was not her first design. I thought for a really long time that it was, but the very first drawing of her shows her with black hair and blue eyes. So against the brown hair, brown eyes was a phase of some kind. Anyway, the second version is that she was extremely angry all the time. Traces of that still remain. She is extremely serious, and she has a slightly different hairstyle, but she was more kind. Right now, keep in mind again, this is old, so she's changed since then. Cold, firm, and emotionless. I would say the current Winter is a merge of 2, 3, and 4. So she can be very harsh and very angry, but she is actually a very kind person. So yeah, that's Winter. The next character is Daniel Salza. He's a human from NC. He's usually laid back and goes with the flow. He seems to be distant from his parents. He loves to travel and see new places, as well as reading and writing poetry. Gender, maybe agender, but he's not sure. His pronouns are he, him, and his orientation is aromantic and bisexual. Birthday, September 15th. That passed quite recently. He is 18 years old and his color code is beige. His original surname was Williams and he looked very different. The gap here is because I wanted to show how he used to look like, but I couldn't find the image. But yeah, he did used to look extremely different. The next one is Christian Belvede. His name is not pronounced Christian. Please do not pronounce it. You can mispronounce everything else in those books. Just please don't mispronounce his name. It's not Christian, it's Christian Belvede. You can call him Belvede. It doesn't really make that much of a difference, but yeah, his first name's important. Some characters in Northland will refer to his nickname pronounced Jan, but his actual nickname is Ian. It comes from Christian. A witch from Northland. He gives the impression of a stuck-up rich boy, but is allegedly very funny in his native tongue, which is Aurorian, by the way, or Avrorian. He's never done house chores before, but doesn't complain while camping. Gender, cis male. Pronouns, he, him. Orientation, gay. His birthday is June 23rd. He's 24, and his color code is teal. Ian came to me after watching a really bad movie, and I think the movie was about hunting a witch, but I don't remember the name um, anymore, but the idea of him came from there. He was originally in a bad love triangle between Winter and Chris, which is pretty ridiculous, but it's not there anymore, so don't worry about that. The next character is Julia Brown. Sometimes her father calls her Yulia, a summer witch from NC. She can be hot-headed and stubborn, but also supportive if you get on her good side. She likes taking photos and dressing up for no occasion. She's like a pretty high school popular girl, I guess. She is one of my favorite characters to write though. I love her. So yeah, I hope that you give her a chance. Gender cis female, pronouns she her, orientation bisexual. Birthday July 21st, age 18, color code pink. The interesting thing about Julia is that she's always had the same design since the first time I created her, and she was created along with Daniel a few years after I created Chris and Winter. Arnold Rudolph. He's an unknown being from Northland. So either he's a hatch, or he's a human, or maybe something else. Nobody really knows. He has anxiety and depression, but wants to work hard and get through it. His father is the town's medic, and Arnold is his apprentice. He likes studying botany. His gender is most likely agender, but he isn't sure. Pronouns he, him. Orientation, again, he's not sure, but he mostly likes men. Birthday is 10th and 11th March because he's born at midnight. He's 20 years old, and his color code is green. His name and appearance came to me in a dream, like I literally dreamed a reference page for him while someone screamed the name Arnold Rudolph. And I think even in the dream he was with Ian in a romantic relationship, so I knew that from the beginning. I think even someone screaming Arnold Rudolph was what woke me up from that dream, so I knew from then that that's him. So, my plans for the novel are like this. I wish to publish it on Amazon for Kindle and possibly for print. This is the best option I have for self-publishing at the moment. Of course, I'd rather not really give that much money to Amazon, but publishing houses are not really an option for me due to personal reasons. So I want to self-publish on a platform that's popular, and unfortunately Amazon's the biggest one. So yeah. So far I have been publishing it online for about 10 years, different versions at different times, and currently it's on Tapas and Itch.io for free. Now the reason that I haven't put it on Amazon yet is because I want to get it professionally edited and professionally promoted so that it can reach a larger audience. How you can help. If you enjoy the story, once again, you can read some versions of it for free on Tapas. I also have a few chapters on Wattpad and Royal Road, as far as I know. So I'm currently holding a fundraiser to help me hire an editor. There are many possible rewards in that fundraiser, and you can also donate to me on Ko-fi or commission me. The links are witchesofthenorth.eu, which you can find where to read it and all of the information that I just told you. The fundraiser is gogetfunding.com/Witches of the North Book 1 with dashes between the books, between the words. And I am Nathaniel Aldrin on Twitter, where you can find out how you can commission me or donate or help me in some way. And in the end, thank you so much. Thank you for giving my story a chance. Thank you for reaching until the end of this video. I really, really appreciate it. And I hope you have a good day, night, and so on.